Somebody smarter than me, an NBA beat writer, tried to sketch out a Lakers starting lineup for the upcoming year, and even he couldn't figure it out. Like many divorces, oh, the dirty laundry is coming out about the LA Sparks. And when is a holdout not a holdout? Just ask the Chargers. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It is July 28, 2022. I am sitting with my dirty laundry in a flea bag hotel in the Midwest. Totally don't care. We're going to talk LA sports. I want to start off by thanking the new subscribers who have joined the channel over the last 24 hours. I appreciate every last one of you. If you like the content we've been putting out, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new clips. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Because after all, I'm about myself, guys. So before we get to the news and notes, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Yesterday, Andrew Heaney returned from injury and pitched 4 shutout innings. He was also benefited by a 6-run first inning by the Dodgers. He made it stand up. Everybody took a nice afternoon nap. Dodgers 7, Washington 1. The Dodgers have an 11.5 game lead in the NL West. Also, I made a mistake yesterday. I said the Sparks were playing in Phoenix. That's not true. They're playing there tonight. Nobody cares. Whatever. But the Dodgers are traveling to Colorado. That game's at 6:40. It's Tyler Anderson, who's 10-1, versus Jose Urena, who's 1-2. Okay. So the Lakers obviously added a whole bunch of different players. They got younger, and nobody really knows exactly what to think. So The Athletic, their beat writer, took a stab at it. Okay? Give you the basics first. They have 14 players under contract. They have a couple of players on the so-called two-way deal between the NBA and the G League. One of them is Cole Swider, who just totally destroyed from three-point range in Summer League, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he winds up making the club. But out of all the new people coming in, there are only 2 players that we know will be in the starting lineup. LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the writer could not settle on a single lineup. And the reason is that we don't know necessarily if Davis is going to prefer starting at center or power forward. So he built lineups assuming either or. And I'd like to break it down for you just to give you an idea of what to expect. Now understand, this is not set in stone. But we know about LeBron, we know about Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis plays the center, the Athletic forecasts Juan Toscano-Anderson, a free agent signee from Golden State, to be the power forward. The other starters, by the way, the other alleged starters in both situations, Russell Westbrook and Austin Reeves. However, neither one of them are etched in stone to be starters. For example, we all see all these trade rumors about Russell Westbrook. The other problem with Austin Reeves, he's a second-year player. And his shooting just dropped like a rock as the year went on. Matter of fact, they signed Troy Brown as a free agent to basically make sure they had some semblance of an insurance policy in case Austin Reeves fell off the charts all over again. So, if Anthony Davis starts at the 5, Juan Toscano-Anderson is your power forward. There are pluses and minuses to this. The first thing is that if you have Anthony Davis at the 5, he's in the low post, he's going to be faster than a lot of other people down there, he'll get a lot of scoring opportunities. Matter of fact, the Lakers would be smaller and faster. So it would literally be just revving up the engines and seeing how many points they can put up. Having said that, there are a lot of problems that lineup creates. For example, that lineup would be so small they'd get killed on the rebounding. They'd get killed on defense in general. And that alone would drive Darvin Ham nuts, the new head coach. He's a defense-first minded coach. In addition to that, Juan Toscano-Anderson hasn't necessarily proven himself as a starter. He didn't start for the Golden State Warriors. He was a reserve. In addition to that, the not so small note that Anthony Davis hates playing center. So you got a lot of problems with that particular lineup, but maybe they run it. Now let's assume for the moment that instead, Ham cuts Anthony Davis a break and ships him over to the four, power forward. Well, now you have a different lineup. Toscano Anderson goes to the bench, and in his place, playing the center, is Thomas Bryant, because Bryant can't play the four. He is a pure center. You would keep Anthony Davis and theoretically, possibly, Westbrook and Austin Reeves as the guards. Now that would obviously work on a defensive level, but having said that, the problems that would wind up arising is that they're not as quick. The spacing now in that offense becomes a lot more blurry because of the ill-defined roles, particularly for Russell Westbrook. So each one of them, those two options, have pluses and minuses. It is what it is. Now I will say this as a side note to everything. What I hate about either option for the lineup, there's no Taylor Horton-Tucker mentioned even as a prominent bench player. Why is this a problem? Because Taylor Horton-Tucker was not included in potential trades. Apparently there were teams asking for him and the Lakers said no. Well, if he's not going to play a significant role, why not send him for an asset that you would use? You see what I mean? So the Lakers, I just wanted to at least sketch out some options that some smarter NBA people than I have sketched out. Divorce. We talked about contract divorce with the Sparks yesterday. Now, in real life, divorce, I wouldn't wish it on any of you. Unless, of course, you enjoy sleeping in your car and going to bankruptcy court. Oh, and don't forget, when you go get a divorce, getting all those STD tests. Oh, that's a lot of fun. That's a hoot. But after you find out why that green ooze is seeping down your leg, and after you find out all the surprise credit card bills from your wife knowing your social security number, then comes the other fun thing about divorce. All your dirty laundry out in public. And in this contract divorce with the LA Sparks, you can rest assured the other players are showing they ass about Liz Cambage. And she is not a good person. We listed a bunch of reasons why she's not a good person. We may have a couple more. She was definitely calling out, her teammates said that during film sessions for strategy, that she never accepted any responsibility, just clowned all of her teammates. There was a lack of hustle. But the weirdest thing that makes me think that Liz Cambage might actually be a jerk. She comes to the Sparks, she wants the number 8. She can't have it, the number's retired. So she wanted the number 1. Only another player already had the number. She asked the player says no. And surprise, 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 the player got suspended for the entire year at minimal pay, if any pay. That woman lost her job. Now, we don't have exact proof that Liz Cambage got a woman fired over something as petty as a jersey number. We don't know. But the timing is pretty suspicious, wouldn't you say? And also by the fact that multiple coaches keep seeming to be fired while she's on the team. What's to say? The WNBA, they cut players for ridiculous reasons all the time. Somebody needs to ask the Sparks if this poor woman lost her job over something as pathetic as a jersey number. Even the denial would be useful. When is a holdout not a holdout? Well, a couple of media sources said that Chargers safety Derwin James was holding out. And that surprised me because that was the first I had heard of it. So I scrambled, I read the stories, and he's not. To me, this is the definition of a holdout. For all the years I was a sports writer, this was the definition of a holdout. I want more money. I'm not showing up. Matter of fact, I'm going to be a jerk in public and totally blast you guys until I get the paycheck I want. That's a holdout. But that's not what Darvin James is doing. Darvin James is with his teammates. He's even on the field. He's just not participating in drills. And can you blame him? Because if he gets injured, that big payday, gone. So he's still trying to be a decent teammate. He's not crapping on the Chargers. And even the coaching staff is basically understood. Quote, "I think there's full respect on both sides," Brandon Staley said. So no, it's not a holdout. They're trying to figure it out. Also with the Chargers, their training camp opened yesterday, and I realized that what I'm about to say qualifies as an overreaction. Okay, I'm not saying I know this is a fact, but I'm starting to think maybe the offensive line is going to need a little bit of time to gel. Why would I say that? Well, I read different accounts of the first day of training camp. When it was 11 on 11, offense versus defense, the defense was beating the daylights out of the offense. When it was 7 on 7, i.e. the offensive line and the defensive line were not on the field, the offense was moving the ball. Now what does that tell me? It tells me that the defensive line was dominating the offensive line. Keep in mind, the Chargers, while they added a lot of different players, they still don't know who's going to play right tackle. And they have a rookie at right guard. That's a weakness. Now, again, one day of practice. I'm not saying I know for a fact that the Chargers are going to get that right side of the offensive line just clobbered all year long. I'm not saying I know that. But I at least wanted to put that little seed in case you do see it happen, so that you know what to expect. Dodgers president Andrew Friedman went on Spectrum Sportsnet and reiterated that it is very difficult to evaluate how to trade for relief pitchers. The asking price for every player, regardless of position, is at its highest in July. And oh, by the way, because the Dodgers, their bullpen is questionable, people want them to trade for a reliever. You are asking a reliever, particularly a closer, to be lights out for 3 months. A reliever that you don't even know. That's a big ask. Are you really going to send an elite prospect out on that big of a gamble? Or is the smarter thing trying to see if your coaches can teach some of these relievers a new pitch to get over the plate? That's one of the reasons why you hear rumors about closers on the market, but you don't hear the Dodgers actually going after them. Speaking of trade rumors, I just want to give you guys a heads up. The trade deadline is August 2nd. I am only going to report rumors that are reported by nationally recognized baseball experts. So not a blogger. I don't care if some guy has a blog called Dodgers Rule PadresSuck.com. I don't care about his proposed trades. It's all crap made up in the recesses of his empty head. I bring that up to you because we do have a couple of names that you should keep your ear to the ground on. We already know about Cincinnati pitcher Luis Castillo. We already know about Washington outfielder Juan Soto. But John Heyman of the Major League Baseball Network, MLB Network, reports the Dodgers are interested in Marlins first baseman outfielder Garrett Cooper, who's an all-star, and Kansas City infielder Whit Merriman, that they're talking to him about it. But there's going to be plenty to talk about until that trade deadline actually hits. Now, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are trying to build something for LA sports. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Quian Cortell Queso production. Take care.